Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Tyler Merkovich alongside Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bringing you the Houston Texans off-season outlook. And for the Texans, D'Amico Ryan's the free agent. You know they're going to bring him back to pair him with Brian Cushing. Their defense is coming around. Mario Williams, Okoye on that D-line. But in their secondary, they picked up Bernard Pollard, who's a questionable cut by the Chiefs. A couple teams want him. He ended up with Houston. Had a lot of success late in the year. So who knows? They probably bring him back. Dante Robinson, who's been asking for money for a while, one of their top cornerbacks, is a free agent. Let's see if they bring him back. And on the offensive side of the ball, Kevin Walter, one of their wide receivers, and Owen Daniels, who had a terrible knee injury. You know he is vital to Matt Schaub. Rex Grossman is gone, and Schaub usually gets injured. Last year he didn't. So maybe they want to build some depth at quarterback. So where do you think the Texans are going to go?
Number one, I think they have to go with that secondary, cornerback and safety. You know, so let's say a guy, maybe like an Earl Thomas, could fit well in there, or Paris Cox. Any one of those top cornerbacks in this draft can fit well in that secondary. They also need a defensive tackle to go alongside Okoye. You know, Okoye is really not a guy that can occupy blocks. He's more of a quick defensive tackle that wants to get pressure on a QB. So I think a D tackle on side of Okoye would be crucial. That's more later on in the draft, but they have to address that need. A big size, big run stuffing nose tackle they need in that defense at 4-3, and they also need running back. Let's be honest, Slayton did well, but he fumbles a lot. You know, but they need a real bell cow runner. Maybe C.J. Spiller.
Foster came on last year.
Right. You know, maybe they bring in C.J. Spiller, or maybe they bring in Jonathan Dwyer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had Jonathan Dwyer as my mock draft going to them.
You know, so they can have some, or they maybe a job at best, but they need a running back. They really do. And they need a wide receiver, because if Kevin Walter leaves, who's that solid number
Jacoby
2 guy?
Jones, who knows if he could fit the bill at number 2. He is probably better off getting the nickel or dime guy, but they drafted James Casey also. But I don't think he's Owen Daniels. He's one of the most underrated players in the league. They're going to bring Owen Daniels back. They're going to bring Owen Daniels. And absolutely,
a need for them is interior offensive line, guard to guard. They need help.
Eric Winston was coming on as an offensive tackle, but really their issue was, I mean, running through the middle, and there was question marks. Oh, can Slayton run up the seam? Well, if he's not going to get no blocking, of course he's going to try to get some yards to the outside, so maybe build that interior, try to get a little nastier up there.
When you look at your division, you have Tennessee, you have Jacksonville, you have the Colts. You look at the entire AFC, period, are predominantly 3-4 teams. So the most important element on that offensive line is your center, because they're going to have to face a nose tackle in that 3-4 that's going to apply pressure, that's going to command double team and control that gap. So the center play was adequate last year. They're getting a lot of pressure up the middle. They got to get better in that center position. So you look at somebody maybe like Pouncey from Florida, really good player, can also play guard too. So if they feel comfortable with the center they have, or if they want to get a new center, Pouncey would probably be a good guy to get. But they really have to get better in that interior offense.
Those players who can play multiple positions, can play special teams, can play this and that, they get value and they move up draft boards, because they need to put players in different spots. They need to use players for more than one position.
And I like the Texans. I think the Texans.
Yeah, they're right on the cusp. They're keeping.
They got the first win of the season.
They have. I mean, it's just they seem to always be on the cusp, but there's more promise with.
Keeping Schaub healthy is number one.
Both units, yeah.
You build an offensive line, Schaub stays healthy all 16 games.
They're not all about offense now. Their offense is very explosive, and their defense is young and upcoming.
That linebacking core is outstanding, and they need another defensive end, aside of Mario Williams to get pressure. But it also maybe they signed Antonio Smith to a big contract last year. But they really need to get that D tackle to help out Okoye.
Yeah, they really just keep building on the defense a little bit. Maybe if you want to get nasty on the interior, that offensive line, that could help. So, I mean, every team needs players, but the Texans are on their way there.
They're sitting in a good spot.
For more, visit youtube.com/footballgameplan.